It's Tuesday. It's time for Coffee and Cursey Words Part 2. Due to due to law and crime copy striking something that they don't have copyrights in. You know why? Because the trial is using pool cameras. No one owns the copyright in the stream coming out from the pooled cameras. But if law and crime wants to fuck with YouTube, LawTube will return the favor, law and crime. Don't fuck with the YouTubes. But you know what? If you're going to, at least know where you're wrong. If you don't have copyrights in the stream, you can't copyright claim it. And for that reason, we are going to DEF CON Red because this is some DEF CON Red level shit. So, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I know that they have previously done this to Nick Rekieta. I don't know if they did that today. Chat, if they did, let me know. I went and told LawTube in the DMs real quick. I ran to LawTube and was like, this is what they're doing. So that's what's going on. I know Rekieta was streaming this. I know Legal Bytes is streaming this. So it was we're going to go to DEF CON. So with that, Fred is like, I don't know what's happening. Mom's yelling. Yep, we're yelling. We're going to go to DEF CON Red and we'll continue to yell. And then I will give you my thoughts on what's going on with these openings. And then I'm going to answer all of your questions that luckily I have saved because StreamYard is the greatest. So I can see everything I saved from that stream before Law and Crime tried to obliterate it. But if you come for my channel, Law and Crime, we're going to have a conversation. Like, don't be dicks. If you're worried that people aren't watching your content, provide better content. But commentary over content is also fair use. We're going to DEF CON Red, and then I'll continue to rant. DEF CON Red's a little flashy. So if those of you that are flash sensitive, just know that the flashing will end when the music does. And we are going to DEF CON Red in 3, 2, 1. Because seriously, what the fuck is with this? My lights didn't want to go to red when I told them to go to red, because why would my technology actually work when I need it to work? And I'm also annoyed. So, because why not? You know what though? My friends are coming in. So did I say Law and Crime? Did I say Law and Crime? I should have been using Court TV. So Law and Crime being a thing. Let's see. Once your stream cut, it pushed me to Nick's stream, which was still running on the break. Right. And good. I'm glad. So I will be fighting it, obviously. I know the way that works. Thank you guys for all the DEF CON Reds. Look, the thing is, when you don't own the copyright, you can copy strike somebody's channel. So a copy strike affects your channel. It copy strikes the video. It just completely pops out. But I will also be fighting it and I will win, but it's still ridiculous. But this is the fight they tried to start with Rekieta too. So we're going to absolutely be using other streams in the future. Again, the pool camera puts a stream out for those that have cameras there to use the stream. So no one independently owns copyright of the stream. It's also a public court. I could go on forever. So with that, I'm sure it wasn't the highest viewed stream going on today, but I will fight with them another time. So also, it's fair use. It's commentary. We will deal with it. Do not worry. Do not worry. The people running their YouTube channel are probably not the people running around striking. They have another company that's striking it. I will deal with it on my end. Look, it happens if you are going to stream over something. It's just kind of hilarious. Yep, it is. So, allegedly, Angelo, I'm going to get to the super chats from this and from the other stream, but we will absolutely deal with it. And again, it's, I'm not going to do things that I can't do. If it was a proprietary stream, we're not going to stream it on the YouTubes. That's what I would tell any creator to do. But it's not a proprietary stream. They can't have a proprietary stream in it because it is a pool camera. So with that, I'm going to get to some of the questions. I am going to get to the super chats. I won't be able to pull them up on the stream because I can't because of the other one, but I will just. So Octo's like Enneagram 1 is triggered, not good. The thing is, I stick within the rules of what I can and cannot do. I am not so much a boundary pusher unless it comes to like the language I use on the YouTubes. But even then, I know what I can and cannot say. And I also know what the consequences are. If I use language that's not super advertiser friendly, I'm not monetized. There's times I'm cool with that. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let it roll. I'm not even going to turn ads on. We're cool. But if you can't have a copyright in the thing, you can copyright strike it, but you're not going to win. So then it's just trying to be petty and get my stream taken down when the court was on break and we weren't even talking about you anyway. So we're going with the I will just fight with it, and we will do it elsewhere, and we will use other streams because there are plenty of other streams, because Law and Crime is not the only pool camera. It's a pool of cameras, one in the courtroom with a pool. That's how it works. You don't own the copyright. So I know my facial roller's packed. My facial roller is packed. So I can't even like, look, we've got to look cute. Adam and Zach are coming to Nashville. Octo is on his way. NJ is on her way. Law nerds are on their way. We have things to do. We have live events to happen. And look, the thing is, opinion's never going to make me mad. Like other people that want to talk their shit and run their mouth and just say things that are ridiculous, I'm going to just be like, whatever, talk your shit. We all know what it is. You do you. I don't care. But when I have the absolute right to do what I'm doing and you are going to come and try to tell me that I can't, we are not going to go there. But also, I have been a lawyer for what, God, 15, 16 years? I don't know, somewhere in that realm. Gosh, every year it keeps ticking away. But what you're not going to do, and at least it happened at the lunch break. We saw the opening. We're going to take a deep breath and get to the questions. I'm going to give a quick synopsis because I got so rudely interrupted by Law and Crime being dicks. So with that, we are going to give a quick rundown of, yes, I need the jaded thank you. I'm going to drink whiskey with my friends this evening. It's going to be fine. We're fluffing. Octo, you're so sweet. Did you text me too? I haven't even seen my text. I've been in the middle of dealing with this stuff. Can I get a venti salted caramel cold foam cold brew? Thank you so much. And a chocolate croissant. I need a chocolate croissant. You're the best. Thanks, Octo, because Octo's coming to my house after this. Here's the thing. This is why we have the ability to be on multiple platforms. This is not a YouTube issue. I mean, in so much as YouTube allows you to do this, that the copy strike system will take down a stream while it's streaming, but you can fix it on the back end. So this does happen. This is not a YouTube issue. This is someone using the YouTube system to warrant strikes, which we talked about in the Bungie lawsuit. And we will be talking about more from the Bungie lawsuit with their system of copyright strikes, because Bungie wasn't even the one issuing the strikes on their own content. If you haven't seen that video, watch it. But this is also why I have access to Patreon, which is at lawnerdsunite.com, where I could go stream, where I have the text crew at textemily.com, so I can let you know if stuff happens where I will be. And I also share those updates on social at, Twitter and on Instagram. Twitter's faster than Instagram. Octo, do not grab one with each arm, my friend. Just the one. So can they get in trouble for fake strikes, Kitten RN? Yes, but YouTube doesn't tend to enforce their policy that way. So this is why I have other places for you to connect with me. LawNerdsUnite.com is $3 a month. I can stream into there, and there will be behind the scenes at Law Nerds Unite during my time this week with Adam and Zach and Octo and everyone. So if you want those kinds of updates, there will be there. I have stories that I can update there. I can stream there and update videos and the I Have Thoughts podcast. And then text Emily. I can keep you up to date there. So there are other ways to keep you up to date. Um, Private Chris is like, fight, fight. You can see the energy change. Like we've gone into, look, motherfuckers, this is not what we are doing. Today is not the day, and I am not the one. And again, I let a lot of things roll, like a lot of things roll. Because again, most of it's just nondescript and irrelevant to me. But when you're trying to tell me that I can't do something that I can in fact do, I am not having it. And with that, we are going to move on and talk about what we saw in the openings real quick. So I'm going to do a brief road so far of what we saw in the openings and then answer questions in the time that we have together. And then I'm going to go get my nails done. And I'm going to take a deep breath and get ready for Spilling Tea Live. If you want the stream, spillingtealive.com, you can buy the stream. It's just a couple of dollars if you want to see that stream live. I will be there with Zach and Adam and others here in Nashville, and I can't wait. So let us swoop, let us do a quick road so far, and then we will get to all of the questions. We'll just do a Q&A stream. So with the opening, the theme of Johnny Depp's team is really that Amber Heard is playing the role of a DV victim. And to do that, she has ruined Johnny Depp's career, his reputation, his name, and that she has been kind of acting, if you will, casting herself as a victim. From Amber Heard's side, you heard that he was a obsessed ex-husband, hell-bent on revenge. He dragged her all the way to Virginia for revenge. He's suing her for revenge. This is just further perpetration of what he's already done to Amber Heard. The most interesting thing we got from Heard's opening, aside from the fact that they said she was dating Elon Musk, which I think that she had previously denied, and the chat was like, didn't she deny that? Look, the in and outs of their relationship is not something I've kept up with extensively. But here was, hey, she was dating Elon Musk, which was an interesting thing to drop in the opening. They also talked about the shitting on the bed of it all, which was very interesting. But the most interesting thing from their opening is the way that they reframed it. I don't know how much this will be caught because there's more sensational sentences. This obsessed ex-husband is kind of their headline statement that they're going to want the media to run with. But there's a much more important statement in this opening, and that is whether or not the statement is defamatory, they are arguing hinges on whether she reported the DV, whether she made a report of domestic violence. She absolutely made a report. So they are trying to shift the narrative. The narrative's not, did this happen? Did this not happen? But did she report it? Because the headline, and let me pull it up in all of my rage. I did not pull my document back up. Lawyers take notes. I was taking notes on it. That he has no damages. He hurt his finger himself, but truly that she reported the DV. And because she reported it, her statements were true in that Washington Post op-ed. Let me pull up the headline of that Washington Post op-ed, because the headline is one of the things that they hearkened on, and the online version is part of it. So her headline, are we sharing screen? No, because we got yeeted out of our own stream and now we're back. So this is the headline from the online version, and they showed the print version in court as well. I spoke up against sexual violence. So they're going to lean into the reporting. It was Law and Crime, not Court TV. So they're going to lean into the reporting. She reported it, and it's true she reported it. Look, she went and got a temporary restraining order. She made the report. The fact of the report is true. So her saying in an article that she, in fact, reported it is true. Therefore, there's no defamation, and it's protected by the First Amendment, because what she reported what she wrote in the Washington Post is that she reported this, and the report was true. It doesn't matter what happened underlying it. That's all he said, she said. This is what I got from their opening. That's all he said, she said. She said that she reported it. The thing is, though, the statement here, that's one of the statements that they're going to key in on, was 2 years ago, which is right when the divorce was going on and the temporary restraining order happened, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse. That's not the reporting. That is others speaking up. So they're trying to reframe it to the reporting is the true statement. It's true that she reported it. And they are going to stick to that and try to take the jury out of the he said, she said. Did he abuse her? Did she abuse him? Was this a mutually combative relationship where you can't really call anyone an abuser? So all the statements are lies. That's what they're trying to go with. But it's clear that in the counterclaim or the cross complaint from Amber Heard, they are suing Johnny Depp for his lawyer or who was his representative at the time, his lawyer saying that this was a hoax. And I break that down in tomorrow's podcast, which you will be able to see up on the YouTubes tomorrow. So let's go to the super chats I had in the prior stream, and then we'll get to the ones from this stream. So we're going to all just take a deep breath and we're going to get to questions and answers, and then we'll go from there. We're going to get to questions and answers, and then we will go from there. Questions and answers. Okay. Natty J said, what impact do you think it will have that they can point out that none of the photos are originals, and how will Amber Heard's team get over that hurdle? Natty J, that is a great question. Thank you for the super chat. I would love to tell you. They talked about this a little bit in their opening too from Amber Heard, that it's saying none of the photos are from the original devices, but that doesn't mean they're not the original photos. So they are trying to argue around that. And I think we're going to end up in days of really thick testimony that's going to be hard for the jury to wade through about whether these photos are photos of photos, if they're downloads of photos, if they're thumbnails of photos, and the digital evidence in this is going to matter very much. And they're going to argue that this is all semantics and this is all him trying to separate from whether these photos are real or not. They said in their opening that the evidence will show. Well, she never said that. The female attorney never said the evidence will show. She should have, but she didn't. The evidence they are arguing will show in their opening that these had metadata on them. So even though they didn't come from the original device, doesn't mean they're not original. Depp's team said in opening that most of these photos were saved out of an editing app. Editing app doesn't say iPhone Photos to me, even though Photos has an editing function in their app. Editing app, for me, better be like Facetune or something similar. A separate app that is not native to the phone to edit photos, not just having it in Photos where you can edit and adjust, which is what Heard's lawyer said in opening. Yeah, anything in Photos you can just edit and adjust. Well, that's not what Depp's team said in opening. These were saved out of photo editing apps. So we will see what happens. So apparently the photos are coming in. Depp's team is going to have wide latitude to talk about the fact that the evidentiary order wasn't followed. And I wonder if this judge will give a jury instruction about it. I think that is a very real possibility, meaning the jury will be told that not all of the evidence was turned over before trial. It will be crafted in a specific way. And once we see the jury instructions, we'll go over it. That will be possibly 6 weeks from now. But it will be crafted in a way to say that Depp's team was prejudiced or hurt by the failure to turn over information. Those kinds of instructions can be very, very damaging, depending on how much fuckery goes back and forth. And I feel like it's going to be a lot. That hide the ball, like, oh, well, Heard's team's hiding the ball. If they have questions about her, gives the jury doubt enough to say, look, if it's true, why not just turn it over? And that's what a lot of you said when we went over that motion for sanctions. Tiffany Livengood asked, how much does appearance play a role in a prosecution or defense? A ton. Appearances matter so much in court, down all the way to Depp's team had to have female lawyers on it. At least one, if not more. You need to look at what your jury pool is, how you talk to them, how you present. Depp and Heard can't come in here all flashy Hollywood. This is not an LA jury. This is a Virginia jury. They need local counsel to talk to them about what Virginia juries are like, what the people who live near this courthouse are like, what their lives look like. And you need the jury to be able to see a little bit of themselves in your client or in someone on your legal team. This is why having a broadly diverse legal team matters, and having a legal team representative of the jurors in the area matters. This is why diversity in jurors matters. You need jurors who can see themselves in your client. So, with that, appearance matters a lot. And it's something I got comments on from jurors after trials. Like, what shoes were you wearing on day 3? What shoes were you wearing here? What shoes were you like? What were you doing? Appearances are critical. Also, with this Apple Jam PB, here's what I thought about this. You make an excellent point. Amber Heard is wearing the most minimal makeup, the scantest of makeup, and her skin looks like, I don't wear a lot of foundation. I've got a lot of lip liner going today, but I don't wear a lot of foundation because I'm feeling very puffy, to be honest. I don't wear a lot of foundation. I'm not wearing any foundation today. Amber Heard does not look like she is wearing foundation in court. Her skin looks very uncovered. She's probably wearing a tinted primer, if even that. But her attorney said she wouldn't leave her bedroom without foundation on. Look, how many of y'all watch beauty on YouTube? Does that woman look like she is? You tell me. Does she look like she has walked out with a full beat face of makeup? And I mean that in the makeup context. Has she put on a full face of makeup? Because to me, she looks like she is going with a very, very minimal lip, mascara, brows, glowing skin, and that is it. But it belies what her attorney said, is that she wouldn't even leave her bedroom without foundation. It'll be very interesting to see how that comes back around, because makeup is going to play heavily into this trial. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of that. But she looks like she is not wearing a ton of foundation on her skin. So there's definitely makeup. It's just a very minimal amount of makeup. And see, this is why I asked for your guys' opinion. Kelly said, I thought she was wearing a ton of makeup, which is absolutely fair. So the hair was a very controlled, disheveled look, and it's going to be that way the whole time. She's very much leaning into Elizabeth Holmes with the be put together, but not too put together. We'll see what she looks like. We'll see what she looks like when she testifies. So she didn't look like she had on a, baked face of makeup. So next came from Palm Rose. What is she getting out of doing all of this? Is it just to humiliate him? There's not going to be any money left to take. Thank you for that question. She didn't have tons of choice in this because Johnny Depp sued her. So she was a defendant in this no matter what. She wrote the op-ed. Depp sued her for it. She didn't countersue until 2020. The initial lawsuit was 2019. Right in January 2019 is when he filed, because hers was December. So with that, she chose to countersue like a year later in 2020. So that's what that is. Question. Depending on who, quote, wins, who pays for the lawyers. I talked about that a bit on the stream that got yeeted. It depends on if the court awards them legal fees. So depending on what happened, it doesn't have to be all the legal fees, but legal fees aren't guaranteed, and a jury can choose to award them or not award them. After this goes to trial. So it goes to trial. Either Depp wins his defamation claims, Heard wins her defamation claims, or they find no one liable at all and they're like, fuck all y'all, just be done. If someone is found responsible for the defamation claims, then the jury will decide damages. So the damages will get argued after. You will hear a bit about damages during the trial, because for there to be defamation, there has to be damage. But the amount of damages, it's this much lawyer's fees, it's this much this. That amount of conversation will happen after liability is found, the way we talked about in the Cardi B case. So that will happen down the road. And then we will see the amount of lawyers' fees. The jury can choose to award compensatory damages, punitive damages, I think, are capped at $350,000 in Virginia. That's what it seems like from the pleadings, and legal fees. So they could choose to do it or not to do it. The jury could be like, no, you're not getting legal fees. Like, yes, we found you responsible, but no. Or yes, we found this person liable, but no, we're not giving you legal fees. Or they can do what Cardi B's jury did and say, we're giving you every single penny down to the penny of legal fees. So Lynn's asked, why is this a trial and public? Because it's a civil suit. They didn't settle. The only way to resolve it's a trial. And I think it's public because I think that's the goal of this trial. And I talk about that more in tomorrow's podcast. I think the goal of this trial is for them to let all of it come out. This is going to be a very ugly underbelly that is all going to come out, more than we saw in the UK Sun case. Butterfly Moon said, people who are saying Amber Heard is lying, how do you know? Amber Heard has lied about certain things, and I think people extrapolate that. We will see what presents in evidence. Let's see. Kiki May said, so are trials really who can gaslight the jury better? They spin their perception of the truth of their client's case. So that's it. Let's see. Psychedelic Yoga said, is this case going to boil down to he said, she said, or am I oversimplifying? That's what it's going to boil down to. Heard's team is going to try to spin this so that it is boiling down to whether she reported the DV or not. We saw that in their opening. Did she report it? Did he not? Depp's team is going to try to focus this on she was the aggressor. So if there was any aggression from him, he didn't abuse her. He defended himself. So then, therefore, their argument will be, therefore, her statements are not true. So, Angel said, I have a query. I just went to your channel on my TV and it stated, yeah, that's the last stream was claimed by Law and Crime. So, yes, they did that. They copyright struck my channel for giving commentary on a public trial wherein they don't own the copyright. So don't you worry. We'll be talking about it. Ashley's Pretty Little Life said, I'm honestly curious about if Depp will win public opinion or lose the case, or win both or lose both. We will see. There is definitely a court of public opinion play here, and then there is the court of law play here, and I think we will see how it plays out for the both. So thank you guys for all the comments on the hair, by the way. I appreciate it. A number of you asked about Virginia. I will break this down more tomorrow. Virginia's anti-SLAPP laws are not as strong as they are in California. Anti-SLAPP is the, strategic litigation against public participation that comes up in the context of speech. There are some other contexts where it comes up, but for our purposes, it comes up in the context of defamation most. In Virginia, if it's protected First Amendment speech, you can use it as a defense at trial. In California, like we saw in the Ethan Klein H3 case, you can use it to stop litigation at the beginning and just be like, stop, bitch. We're not going any further. Stop. We're not even going to discovery. So if this had gone in California, it would have been a heated battle over the SLAPP motions at the beginning before you ever got into discovery. Here, the SLAPP comes at the end. So you get, potentially the jury gets to consider whether Amber Heard is protected by that statute so that her statements aren't defamatory because they're protected, but that doesn't come till the end. So the shit's out of the horse at that point for the court of public opinion, which is a huge part of this, is both of them airing all of it out in front of a jury and, well, the world on courttv.com, which is where I will be watching this trial heretofore. So that is why. And because this is a civil case, that is why they can choose venue and choose jurisdiction elsewhere. The heart of the crux of the matter is that printing presses and servers for the Washington Post are in Virginia. I don't think their business is headquartered in there. I just think it's the servers and the printing presses that distributed the article are there. They fought for like a year over the jurisdictional stuff. We didn't cover that. We went back. So we jumped in towards the end to break this down. I talked about it last year at some point, but the back and forth litigation was just a lot of back and forth. Now we're here and we're in trial. So a number of you made comments that this is not as clear cut as the Cardi B Tasha K. Not at all. This is going to be a mess. Kaylee Hood asked, why can lawyers defame while on trial? I wanted to get to that as well. With litigation privilege, things said in court, even out of court, in vigorous defense of your client, which is your job as a lawyer, are not defamatory because they're privileged. The privilege is that litigation privilege, things said in legal documents, things said in furtherance of prosecution. If a attorney gives a statement after trial, so whether or not Depp's statements will be considered, that is something they fought over as well. But it has to be in the course of the litigation to be covered by litigation privilege. So that's why lawyers can say things, because that's why lawyers can say things. They are covered by privilege. Let me see. Thank you, Janice, for the super sticker. Matt Bond, thank you for the objection. Why is all the rum gone? I mean, it's way too early for that, but yes, but it's not too early for that everywhere. Not to mention that last attorney, man. Woo! I saw questions about whether you can object during opening. Yes, you can object during opening. And we saw it later on when Heard's lawyer started to tiptoe into the territory of the UK litigation, and the court was like, the judge was like, she doesn't have glasses. I told you, we're not doing this. And then the attorney went very quickly around and was like, we're not doing any of that. When you saw an objection from the defense during Depp's team's opening, you saw the statement that was objected to. They went to the bench, they came back, and then you saw Depp's attorney repeat the phrase like 5 times because he won. Heard's team lost. So yes, you can object. If they are just rambling and boring the jury, you let them keep tying their own rope, man. It's like, you do that. If they are losing the jury, you let them continue to lose the jury. Objections are strategic. There is so much that you can object to. Choosing when to object matters, because if you're the lawyer that's constantly like, objection, 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 when it really matters, you can't use it as a punctuation. So there is litigation strategy, and that's something that most lawyers, I think, I mean, I don't know. I know trial lawyers that are like me. I haven't asked other trial lawyers like their objection strategy, but you wait until it's egregious and then you pull it out to make the jury aware of how bad it is. Sometimes your facial expressions can go a long way with, like, sometimes you have to object. Sometimes if it gets so bad and you have speaking objections, you object and then say why you're objecting. Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered, harassing this witness. You've already warned them about it. And then the jury kind of hears what you have to say. Some courts don't allow speaking objections depending on the trial. And you say objection, and then the court says grounds and either gives you just the legal grounds, relevance, asked and answered, things like, I already said relevance. No foundation, things like that, lacks personal knowledge, hearsay. Some judges just want the objection and then you go up to sidebar and argue it. It depends on the judge, it depends on the court, and it depends on how bad counsel have been fighting and getting information in front of the jury with their speaking objections. In the Rittenhouse case, you saw the attorneys object and then start arguing their objections immediately. Objection, Your Honor, he's doing all this bullshit. What the fuck? That's not what they said. So, Susanna asked, Emily, is this what you were doing when you were a DA, standing up in front of the jury? Yes, I was an active trial lawyer. I argued to a jury, hopefully not in a wandering shit show of a way. I think I was succinct. I once had a jury clap. I feel like I was succinct in things. They would laugh at my jokes. I generally had them with me. I felt like I connected well with juries. It's something when I left the office, my boss commented on and was like, but please don't leave. I was like, yeah, boss, sorry. It's time. It's time. Talia asked, what's the best outcome for all of this? I don't think there is a good outcome from this. I think this is, again, I think this trial is mutually assured destruction for both of them. And I think that both of them are so stuck into it that they can't let it go. And that's what Depp's attorneys made that point in opening too. They said Heard was so in this lie, like she's so in this, she cannot admit that she's wrong and back down. I think both of them are so in this that they can't just back down. From Depp's perspective, through his attorney's arguments, he's fighting to protect his name and his reputation. From Heard's perspective, it's the same. She's fighting to protect her name and reputation, and her obsessive ex is dragging her through the mud. So that's really where we're getting both. What's up, Ace Rocks Tech? Now you're bringing the controversy to the stream. We had a fairly uncontroversial stream about people lying about domestic violence, and here you come and bring the hard question. Tech, will you just put up a poll? Let's poll the law nerds while we're talking about things that are much less controversial. Sarcasm, because this is a controversial one. But we'll put up a poll and leave it streaming during the stream. So I'm going. So there is. I don't think there is a best outcome. Matt Bond said they suck at poker. She's showing all their cards. I don't know if that was Heard's goal, was to get the whole story out in front of the jury early. I think there are a few gotcha moments waiting for Depp based on what we know from the UK case and others. I think there's a few moments, but they definitely let the shit out of the horse, or put the shit on the bed. They definitely weren't letting that be a gotcha moment, which surprised me. I was not expecting that. Mariko asked about the previous litigation being admissible. No, it's not. So you can bring up the previous DV allegations. That will come up with regard to Heard. She does have an arrest for DV. That will come up. But the previous rulings and stuff in the UK case, no, that's not going to come up. Jordan said this lawyer sounds like she's talking about tabloid gossip and not hard facts. That's the vibe I get from her. Interesting. I think it was the rambling way she put it together, because Depp's side also was talking about what essentially feels like tabloid gossip too, but it was presented in a much more linear way. And I think that's why Depp's attorney was like, and then this, and started bringing in the other people, but didn't identify the other people. So she was like, I'm talking about this person. Oh, and so was there too. Okay. Bobby was there too. Who the fuck is Bobby? I don't know. So that's why it felt so rambling. It was like, oh, and then there's this, and oh, and then this, and then, and it was very scattered. So it really did feel like a kid trying to tell you a story after a long day of school, that they start in the middle and they're like, oh my God. And then Johnny said at recess, and you're like, what's happening? And you started in the middle. So it was tough. It was tough to follow. I didn't love it. Urban Phoenix Fox said, how much you want to bet she used makeup to make herself look more tired, and that the bags under her eyes. I don't know. Is there makeup for bags under the eyes? Mine just are naturally occurring and have been since I was 20. But I don't doubt, truly, I don't doubt that Amber Heard is exhausted with this. I don't doubt that Johnny Depp is exhausted with this. No matter, I know people have sides on this because so much has already come out in public. There's audio that's very, very damaging that's come out in this. There's so much already known to the public before this goes to trial that people absolutely have sides. And again, this is not an innocent till proven guilty. This is not a criminal case. This doesn't have to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. This is liability in a civil case. It's like 51%, and the jury doesn't have to be unanimous. So people do have sides in this case, and I'm not going to tell them that they shouldn't. People have sides in this case. But with that, I am trying to wait until we see what comes out. I am trying to say, okay, I'm taking in the information and going kind of day by day on how I feel about this. But people absolutely have sides in this one. And that's something that the lawyers also have to be mindful of. So Natasha said, this lawyer lost me already. If I were a juror, I would be brain dead by now. I feel bad for the jury suffering through her tirade. And that also might be why Depp's side didn't object at all, because they were letting her just, you do you, boo. We're not going to help you out. Daniela said maybe the lady lawyer is nervous this one trial because too much pressure. That's a lawyer's job. These have to be very experienced lawyers to be standing up in front of a jury. The junior lawyers are going to be doing the research and sitting in the back taking notes on their laptops. This has to be a very seasoned attorney that's going to be up there presenting to the jury. And it's interesting, both sides picked to have both a male attorney go first and a female attorney close their opening, and both sides chose to split their openings. It's very interesting to watch the strategy play out. The Jaded said, can we stop acting like rehab fixes everything? I don't think Amber Heard's attorneys attacking Johnny Depp's addiction is going to work well for them. I think if I was on Heard's legal team, I would want to see attacking his actions, not attacking his addiction. attacking his addiction, depending on the makeup of this jury, can go very badly for them. So instead of saying he's an addict, be like, you're going to hear about his substance abuse. And maybe that has affected his memory because he was using substance and some of that. And we will talk about his memory, but let's talk about his actions. He said this, he did this, and leave it alone. But she was like, he's got a line of prescriptions this long, and he's got this, and he's got that. And I'm like, that's not, I don't think, going to play well for the jury. So, the lawyer, psychedelic yoga said, or Yoda, sorry, said the lawyer is wandering so much, I'm having trouble focusing on what the focus should be. And that's the problem. That lawyer was losing all of us. And that's not good for them, unless they wanted the jury to just check out and forget everything that happened that morning. Just forget all the things. Matt Bond, thank you for the super chat. Does anyone have a clue what the hell she's saying? I mean, that was contemporaneous and no. A&M, thank you for the super chat. Feels like a boring teacher lecturing because she's used to being ignored by the students. Maybe. Jurors can't respond back verbally. They can't do asked and answered, but you can see in their face if they're responding to you or not, if they're with you or not. It needs to feel like a conversation, even if that conversation is one-sided. It has to feel like a chat. Catherine Dubia said, is that a real thing? We're now on to the fecal phobia. I haven't Googled yet, but I saw the chat talking about fecal phobia and indicating that it was indeed a real thing. We'll see. Natasha said, I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. Yep, I think so. Ali Foley said, my name is Elaine Bradhoff. Her name is Elaine Bradoft. She's from northern Minnesota, now lives in Virginia. Her accent's a mix of both. I couldn't figure out the accent on that female attorney. Her accent was confusing to me. So thank you for giving me the rundown of that attorney. Hazel had asked, is this normal for an opening statement? Yes, there's not going to be a lot of normal about this case, but lawyers have time to make their case. They want to make a good first impression in front of the jury, and they want their side to be the goal of an opening statement, not an argument. You don't argue, is to give the jury a roadmap of what they're going to see and to build your credibility with the jury. So when you close, they trust you. I don't think every lawyer does it that way. This is from me. This is how I did trials, and I did a lot of them. Your opening needs to give your jury a roadmap so that when you hit on certain witness testimony, on certain areas of evidence, they go, oh, you told me that was going to be important. And then when you close, you say, hey, I told you in opening that I was going to show you this and this and this, that the evidence would prove this and this and this, and you've seen this and this and this. And it builds trust. You tell them what you're going to show them. You show them, you tell them that you showed them, and then you tell them why that makes the thing, the thing. The claim, the claim, the defamation, the defamation, the crime, the crime, the crime. That's how you structure that. We saw some of that in both of their openings, but then it wandered in Heard's opening very far afield. So it's going to be hard for the jury to be like, did you tell me you were going to do that? But I'll bet you that the other side is making notes going, they told you they'd show you this in the evidence. I didn't see it. They told you this would happen in the evidence. I didn't see it. They have a benefit being civil attorneys. A, they've seen what happened in the UK case and seen what some of the evidence bears out. B, they've had depositions. In criminal cases, sometimes you have interviews, sometimes you don't. So you have to be a little more vague. You have to be a little more vague in your opening in criminal, because sometimes you don't know what's coming. You don't have you have your evidence, but other than that, you kind of keep it cute and keep it moving. But they've got deposition on deposition on deposition. So yeah, she definitely didn't give a roadmap. So question, what was the rate of you winning trials in court? I don't know the percentage. I would have to look. I had 2 or 3 hung juries and 1 or 2 not guilties in probably 40 plus trials. I need to go pull them. So I did not lose often. And normally when I lost, I knew it was coming and the case just needed to go to trial. But if I thought I could not win a case, I tried to either dismiss the case or plea the case if I thought that a witness was particularly unsympathetic, but the thing had happened, but a jury might not get it. things like that. So I tried not to go to trial on things that shouldn't go to trial, including cases that shouldn't be prosecuted. Going, this shouldn't be prosecuted. It's the benefit of being a prosecutor is you can say this shit shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. So this trial is going to be absolutely wild. Tacitly said, is this normal? And isn't she guilty of defamation already? The attorneys can't be guilty of defamation in court. They are protected by litigation privilege. So Tia said the judge is asking, are you ever going to let us go? I'm sure that was in there. It's like, counsel, are you wrapping it up? Are you wrapping it up? Carol said, thank you, Emily, for your professional and entertaining narration. I could listen to all 6 weeks. Well, we'll see how that goes. Great teaching on our legal system. You're welcome. It's like transformative use when you have a public stream and you give commentary over it with 15 plus years of being a lawyer and trials on trials under your belt. I don't know. Maybe Law and Crime's just jealous. I'm teasing. It's their company that does these copy strikes and we will deal with it. DC said, do lawyers practice their openings? If so, they aren't good. Are they told that by their team and no changes made, or are they not aware of how they come across to the jury? It depends on the firm. It depends on the lawyers. It depends on the practice. Some large trials, like large $100 million, billion-dollar trials, they will run a trial with a mock jury. So law firms will pay a jury to come in, watch the openings, watch the closings, and run a trial. Sometimes they will run a trial side by side where they pay like a focus group jury to come in day by day and give feedback. It depends on how much money's in the trial. In the DA's office, there are times where you don't know you're going to be in trial and somebody gives you a trial and you're like, oh, I'm going to be in trial. So no, you don't practice your opening. You hope you hit the bullet points. You keep it vague. You keep it moving, and you sit right the fuck back down. You're like, this is a carjacking. You're going to hear evidence that this person sitting right here walked up to a person that's going to come into the court and put a gun in their face and said this, and then this happened. And then you're going to hear from these police officers. I thank you for your service. I thank you for your attention. I am going to try to only keep you here for a few days. So I appreciate you paying the closest of attention to this case, and we will all get out of here more quickly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, y'all of the jury. And we're going to sit right back down. Sit right back down. Sit right back down. So some lawyers practice, some lawyers don't. It depends on time. It depends on the case. It depends on the firm. It depends on a lot of things. I knew my point. I knew what I needed to say in opening, but I didn't practice with a script. I don't do things scripted. Emily, do you sometimes wander? Yes. Yes, I do. Alicia said, please keep covering the trial. I want to see it with you and hear your take. # Law and Order Unite. Thank you. The gift heart said, my coffee got cold while that woman was talking. I think that says everything. Did you see me guzzling my coffee? Like guzzling my coffee? Your coverage of the trial is my preference. Please continue as able. I will. We're going to fight about it, and I will. Why did the jury walk out before they were going to do motions, Cassie K? Because thank you for that super chat and that question. That was not a super chat, but thank you for that question. Why they do that is because motions are not things that the jury needs to hear. Sometimes the motions are, we need to talk about this, we need to talk about that. Sometimes the motions are items of evidence that need to come up, things that need to be dealt with before the first witness comes in. Those are things outside of the consideration of the jury. The jury only comes in and hears the evidence, and the motions are not the evidence. It's why they go to sidebar instead of arguing it out loud. Because again, with the jury, you can't unring the bell. You can't put the shit back in the horse. It's why I say it that way. You can't unring that bell. A jury can't unhear something, even if the judge says, you can't continue this because of this. Okay, I can't consider this because of this. It still gets stuck in your head. So with that, if you guys are new here, and I saw a few of you say that you are, go ahead and do the YouTubey, likey, subscribey things. I appreciate it. We are going to be wrapping up in like 15 minutes. So I am going to hustle through the rest of the questions because we absolutely need to hustle through the rest of the questions. My lips are getting dry. We've done the things. We need more lip color. Like all the things are happening today. All the things. So you guys are talking about horses having fecal phobia. I doubt it. The number of hooves I've cleaned, they seem to run right through it. Just fine. just fine. So I'm going to get to some questions. I'm going to APNYC. This is a great question. How loud are sidebars? Has a jury ever overheard something they shouldn't have? Oh, I'm sure it has. There are. Can I tell you guys a DA story? This isn't even my DA story. This is a friend of mine that's in trial right now. And I'm not going to give more detail than that, but she is in trial. The defense said something that violated a number of different things in their opening. So they went to sidebar to talk about it. Then, as the sidebar started to get heated, the judge pulled them into the back hallway and then into the judge's chambers. And then, as the DA started to yell about the thing that had happened, the court reporter got up and shut the door. So these things are also on the record. They're just not in front of the jury, so that there will be a note outside of the presence of the jury. The court reporter got up and shut the door to both the courtroom and the chambers so that the jury wouldn't hear the DA yelling. But there are times that sidebars can get loud. If sidebars are going to be heated and long and it's near the time of a break, a lot of time the judge will just excuse the jury back into the jury room, shut the doors, and then remind counsel not to yell. Sidebars can get loud, but it is also the job of the lawyer to be mindful of not mistrying a case by yelling something or saying something at sidebar. It is your job to be mindful in that circumstance. So a lot of times sidebars will have the judge leaning over and the attorneys talking like this and then speaking, Your Honor, my objection is this and this and this, and speaking in low tones. But normally you will also have a microphone there so the court reporter can still hear the sidebar, because that all needs to come up, because the judge will make rulings at the sidebar that can matter on appeal. So it is a whole thing. I hate nothing more than not being able to hear the sidebars after doing so many trials. I don't like not being a part of it. I'm like, no, what's happening? Even when I would go and watch my colleagues in trial on things, I would still want to be a part of the sidebar. But then at least afterwards, I could ask them in their office, like, but what happened during this sidebar? And what did the judge say there? So the Heather's question, can you take your phones into the jury waiting room? In most courts, no, you can't. In most courts, you do not have your phone during the duration of the trial at all. So, yep. The judge did look pissed to me. And this is where being observant of how things are coming across matters. You don't want to piss off the judge. You don't want to piss off the judge. You definitely don't want to piss off the judge. There was a question here about a civil mistrial. Yes, civil cases can mistry. It just depends on what happens. It's not the same. A lot of things can be overcome, and it's like save it for appeal, different than in criminal. In criminal, there are so many things that are the defendant's rights that it can be, like, especially things like timing, witnesses, stuff like that. There's more potentiality for it in criminal because the defendant's rights are so constitutionally scripted and absolute. So super chats, Octo, thank you. You should be off a plane by now. Reminder to visit textemily.com to get updates. Yes, because that's where I will be. Hello, Dawn. Thank you for the super chat. I'm so glad I can pull these up. F in the chat to law and crime. Sassy Gout. Yeah. I mean, look, I had hoped that they would have learned the ins and outs of how LawTube works and what copyright is and isn't. Apparently, that's not what we're doing with law and crime. So, I know that they had issued not just a stupid cease and desist to Ricada, but they had also tried to strike videos. I was aware of this history. So, it part to me for not choosing a different stream. I could have and perhaps should have chosen a different stream. But again, the principle of the thing is that you don't own copyright in a pool stream. You don't. You don't. Allegedly, Angela said they interrupted my nail polish session. They must pay. We ride as soon as this coat is dry. My nails are getting done next. I'm very excited. Matt Bond said Legal Bytes and Andy freaked out when you got cut. Thank you, everybody, for talking to everyone else who's covering this case. There are lots of us that are covering it. I don't know how long Andy's streaming today. I know that Legal Bytes has put together a lot of LawTube. I will be out of here in about 10 minutes. Again, live events and things. We will also not just be talking about this trial, because Black China and the Kardashians are all going to trial, and that is going to be fascinating. There are claims and counterclaims that we haven't even gotten into yet, but it is so much stuff that I've been going over. So we will be kind of going back between the two. But I will put in a link to, I don't know if Andy's still streaming, but I know Legal Bytes is. So I will put in a link to her new stream. I think she chose to cut the old stream and start a new stream fresh, just in case that video got taken down. It wouldn't cut in the middle of her stream, and I'm glad that she did. So we will put that in the chat and in the description if you want to pop over there and show her channel some love. I think she has most of the law tubes. Jokes are at your own threshold, depending on who she has on chat. You guys know what LawTube is. You guys know who the different commentators are and where their sense of humor falls. So, that's what I'm saying. I like Legal Bytes' channel a lot. Ashley's Pretty Little Life said for legal filing costs, because it's going to take LawTube to get together and stop YouTube allowing system abuse and law and crime and others for abusing said system. We're all going to hope that Bungie keeps taking it. But the hard thing with YouTube is it's very hard to sue YouTube because of the protections they have. Hormoron said, Law and Slime strikes again. Rackets won. You will too. I know. They're so salty that we'd rather watch enjoyable and knowledgeable commentators. They could just ask to work with us, though. We could just, there's plenty of room for everybody on the interwebs. And they're not the only ones streaming the trial. So, go watch LawTube. But I always say, if you want to watch the clean feed without commentary, it's there. Some people do want to watch the clean feed and don't want to hear us yabbering on it going, back in my day, when I was in trial, I wouldn't stand with notes in front of the jury. It made me feel awkward. Notes were always on the lectern. I would stand up and talk. Just like we're talking. Yes, they definitely riled the lawyer. I am riled because it's not, again, I get riled when things are inequitable. It is not just so. I didn't have a Johnny Depp Amber Rose live video that got copyrighted. I had another video that didn't get copyright struck, but it got cut because I was watching something live and it resolved very quickly. Court is back. Court is not back. They said they were taking a break until, Court is probably back until 12:45. So I'm going to finish up super chats. I thought I would be done at 12:30. I've got 10 minutes. Should we see who? I've been betrayed by my own camera. I got completely yeeted out of my own chat. I didn't eat myself. Chrome crashed. That's what happened. Google Chrome crashed and yeeted me. Good God, today is just going to be an interesting day. Okay, let us see what witnesses they're starting with, and I will finish super chats on top of that, and we will see who is. Let's see. I've got to put my ears back in real quick. This is, let's see. Let me put my ears back in real fast, and we will see. I just want to see what witness they're starting with while I go and finish. While I go and finish up. I took my other ears out, so let's see. We will see what is happening here. I'm not even signed into YouTube on this browser. Oh, well, I don't care. It's fine. Let's see what's going on. We're going to share screen. And see which witness. I think this is Johnny Depp's sister. And she is very hard to hear. All right, let's go to share screen. And we will go over this just a little bit. And again, if you want the full stream, the clean stream, you can go watch it. But I think this is Johnny Depp's sister. So I need to clear my cache again. Yes, sister. So we will do a few more super chats. And then I will put in the links to the links to Legal Bytes' stream so that you guys can find LawTube over there as I say goodbye. Question: do you think it's a good idea to stream cases live instead of making available after trial's over, sending support during this time? I think they should. Um, we have public courts for a reason, and I could go into the foundation of the US legal system and why we have public courts. But we have public courts, and I think in the day and age of technology, not everyone who's interested in this trial can physically be in court, and I think this keeps our courts open and public. I also think it's what I think it's what these parties want as well. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need a backup facial roller just for the office with this. It's just this is so funny to me. They wrongfully copyright strike law tubers. Do they have any idea the mistake they just made? See, the thing is there's no consequence for them. I'll fight it, I'll win, but they've still stopped my stream in the middle of the day with, over 3,000 people on it, and that was their goal. Their goal has been achieved. My annoyance has been achieved, but her feet is very low. Thank you, Ashley. This is starting with humanizing Johnny Depp to the jury and his background with an abusive mom. Fuckery financing. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for the super chat. We will fluff. I enter on your Patreon. Don't we have a continuous chat there for these kind of interruptions? Do we have a Discord? I don't have a Discord for a lot of reasons, but I will start threaded conversations each day I cover this in Patreon. I think that's a great idea. So thank you, Daniela. I will remember to do that over there. Hocus pocus, out of focus, magic words. Do your thing. There's going to be a lot of hocus pocus, out of focus with this trial for sure. Thank you for the super chats. We should also talk about the fact that this is going to be very triggering for people who have abusive pasts, because it's going to be a lot of conversation about abuse and past trauma for both parties. So this trial is going to be exhausting if you are watching all of it. And just a reminder to protect yourself and your energy as you're going through this too. You will get reports at the end of the day from all of the outlets about the kind of the bullet points. If you can't watch people reliving their abusive pasts constantly, because that's what this is going to be. Question: doesn't metadata follow the pictures? It should, if they haven't been modified, or should if they've been modified, but some of that they're not seeing. It's going to be hard for them to cross-examine his sister. She presents very sweet, and hopefully Heard's team just takes a page and asks a few questions and sits down. Oh, congrats on your Business Insider article. Thank you. I haven't shared that broadly yet. I should. I'll post a link in Patreon and stuff. Dawn said, trying hard to be unbiased, but my son was abused physically and verbally by his ex-wife. So I'm team Depp, but this whole situation is sad. The whole situation is sad. I think this was a very, very explosive, combative, and dysfunctional relationship. But I had domestic violence cases in court where the female was the aggressor and where the male was the aggressor. So I've seen both. The legal system does treat them differently, and that is a problem. Kit Kat said, some people seem to confuse commenting on legal issues with actually practicing law. Keep up the great work, Emily. We appreciate it. You're welcome. And while I am able to practice law, I don't practice law on the YouTubes. We just analyze the law given, legal education and years of work. Thank you, Silly Rabbit. Lynn said, in 25 years working in mental health, I've never once heard of fecal phobia. It was an interesting, that was the key takeaway for me from everything in the openings. Fecal phobia is going to stick with me. Does the jury have to be unanimous? Not in a civil case. No, they do not. Sky News stream, I will in the future. Today, right now, we're on Washington Post. First time here. Thank you. You're welcome. And look, they don't even have it stamped because they can't, because they don't own the copyright. How do you become a paralegal? Is it worth it? That is a longer question for another day. There is lots of education that goes into being a paralegal. It can be very rewarding. It depends on the area you work in and the lawyers that you work with. So it depends. This has to be hard. Also, the camera work. Is the camera work shady? This has to be hard. And that's what they're going to, because the theme of them is going to be Johnny Depp tried to get away from Amber Heard, not perpetrate the abuse, and that came from his childhood, which is very, very difficult. They're going to relive all of this. Question out of curiosity, how many Court of Appeals circuits did you participate? Love you from UK crew. I didn't ever do appellate work. I was licensed to work in the appeals courts in California and the district court in California, but I did not work in appeals ever. I was all trial level work. And then after that, consulting work and business stuff. Appeals were not my jam. You don't talk a lot in appeals. You write a lot. I don't know if you could tell, but I like to chat. Today, Polity, today is going to be my day, but today in my tech is definitely not it. If you stay on for 10 more minutes, you'll see me. Well, Octo, I will try. I will try. R.R. Smith said, am I allowed to go to Law and Crime Network and politely tell them they stink? No, I will deal with it on the behind the scenes. It's their company that's striking people. We will deal with it. We have no court audio. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. That's my fault. That's 100% my fault.
There
Thank
was another
you.
part that was sad because
It's still
I left
very
behind
low.
my little brother and my dad.
Is that better? That was my fault. Today's not.
If you could explain that a bit, how did,
Sorry about
if
that.
at all, did your experience with your mother affect your
fault.
ideas about what
That was
you
my
intended to
fault.
do with your own family?
No.
She's been talking so low and I've been yammering over her. Sorry. She just said when
Really
Johnny
early
Depp was
on,
a
as a
little boy,
young
he would
child,
try to get away from his mom when she was hitting him.
None of what was happening in our home felt good. And so as I got
It is
older,
1 o'clock, you guys. I have got to
you
jam.
know, both Johnny and I actually, we decided that once
Let's
we
check out
left,
this
once we had
poll.
our own home, that we were never
And
going
I'm
to
gonna-
repeat ever anything similar in any way to our childhood.
Yeah.
We were gonna do it different.
So Johnny felt
I
the
don't
same
doubt
way.
that at all.
Absolutely.
When
She
you
is soft-spoken, but
left
I had
the
mine.
home to start your own
wrong.
family, who
So-
among the original 4 children
have an
were
appointment.
left at
I'm gonna get
home
going.
with your mother?
So with that, you
Johnny.
guys, Octo is going to be here in just a moment. I've got to jam
Did
because
there
I have a
come a
nail appointment.
time when your
I
parents
appreciate all of you.
separated?
And
Yes.
I'm going to give you the link.
Would you please tell the jury
Coca-Cola
what happened?
68%, Pepsi 31%
There
with over
was,
2,000 votes. You guys don't forget
our
to like and
father,
subscribe. I enjoy
one
all of
morning,
you. I will be doing behind the scenes of
decided
getting ready for
to,
Spilling Tea Live and my speaking engagement
pack up
tomorrow morning
everything and,
on social and over
and
at
leave early in the
lawnerdsunite.com.
morning.
I will show you guys the nails on social. If you don't
we
follow me on
didn't know it at
Instagram,
the
follow
time.
me there for that
I don't
kind of
think,
stuff.
but I didn't. live
Legal
out there
Bytes
to
is
work.
still streaming. She's got a whole panel of LawTube
And
over there.
then
Go show her channel some love.
I got
I'm
a
sure you
call
will see
from
guest
my
stars
mom
jumping in. We're
in the
putting
afternoon right after
we're putting all the
got off
links down
work.
in the chat. And
She called me
thank you to
and-
all the
and
mods.
I could,
This is going
It
to
was
be a
hard to
rough one to watch,
understand
but they're
her
starting the emotional
voice.
story of why
She
Johnny Depp
sounded
would not
faint.
do this based on
And,
his own past. And it'll be interesting to see
kind
when
of
in this he
groggy.
testifies.
But she kept saying, he's gone,
I
gone,
think
he's
this
gone."
indicates that he will testify
And
later
I was
in the
trying to get
trial
out of her, "Was it
because
Dad?"
they are
And
going
she
to bring
said,
in the
"Yes,
emotional story
your daddy."
for
And
through
I
his
said,
sister
"Mom,
first.
Are you okay? What
All right.
What's going on?
Thank you all.
You know,
Thank you. I'm going to wrap this
Did you
broadcast up
take your pills?
and I'm
Did
going
she
to say goodbye.
took,
Thank you for being
what
here.
she
Thank
called
you for
nerve
being
pills.
honored. And I will see
And
you
she said
guys
she had.
in the next one.
I asked
Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.